the Self-Made Book Channel. I'm Bianca.
And I'm Byron.
And today we are joined by the very lovely Sherene Headley, who is the CEO and founder of Mokkah Shoes and also happens to be a self-made mentee. Sherene, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about Mokkah Shoes.
Okay, so Mokkah is an affordable luxury footwear brand for fashion-conscious women who wear larger sizes, so from size 8 to size 12. We're a movement. We aim to encourage and we aim to empower and inspire women who for a long time found it difficult to freely express themselves through fashion. And we prioritize style, fit, and quality, encouraging these women to step into their confident, strong, and sexy selves.
Jeez! Perfect. Okay, excellent. So today's topic of conversation is, of course, crowdfunding, something of which you are nearly done, but you're in the process of doing. So first of all, tell us what you're doing at the moment in terms of your crowdfunding and where you are.
Okay, so I've started crowdfunding in partnership with NatWest with the Back Her Business initiative. So I've started a crowdfund to raise £10,000 and in order to launch the first collection, which is the Noir collection.
Excellent. And how much of it have you raised? So
far, I have raised £9,355.
And how many days has gone by and how many days left?
Today's the 12th day. So I've got 23 days left.
Okay. All right. Good. So, well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
That is a huge achievement which you've made look very easy. How many backers have you had?
So I'm on 100, I think just over 120 backers now, yeah.
So first of all, tell us why you decided to crowdfund. And so let's start there.
So looking at how much it was going to be in order to get the first lot of shoes in, I really didn't want to get a loan and stuff like that straight away, being cautious to the fact that I hadn't started yet, so there was no income coming in from the business. So when you guys let us know in the self-made community that NatWest have this initiative whereby if you're a female founder, then you can, who hasn't started their business yet, that we could jump on, I thought that would be the best way to be able to, number one, like test the product, for people, believing in the product and believing in the brand itself, as well as take advantage of the fact that they will match you with what it is that you say that you're gonna raise. So I thought it would be a good thing to do for this particular brand, especially if some people, if you haven't gone through it, you don't necessarily know the fact that it's a real big problem for women who do wear larger size shoes. So I think it's a really good way. It's been able to educate people really as well on how difficult it is and the need for there to be a brand of this kind.
Excellent. So you are 12 days in, you're 95% of your crowdfund already raised, which I'm sure you're delighted about. And
yeah.
I guess what are your lessons you've learned over these last 12 days?
Not to be afraid to be out there. I mean, that was one of the issues for why I was so delayed with doing my crowdfund, is that I didn't really want to be the face. I didn't want to come out. I kind of wanted to build without building Mokkah that way, without, me and myself being out there. And I realized that the more I engage and the more that I speak to people personally, it helps the brand a lot more. Just putting out my story and being out there is what it is that's going to bring and grow the brand. So that's what I've learned, to be honest. That's one of my biggest lessons. So yeah, I think that would be on.
And so if you hit this £10,000 milestone, what's next? How far do you plan to go with this crowdfund?
Well, because they put through when you do your crowdfund application, they get you to do your initial and then your stretch. So my stretch that I put in from before was 15,000, but honestly, I didn't expect that I was gonna be at a point where I'd be looking at my stretch target, just because of my own limiting beliefs before, but seeing how well it's doing, that would be the next target. So actually from now, when I've emailed through to my subscribers encouraging them to pre-order, I've actually said that we're working towards the stretch target of 15k. So I've actually started in my mind to be thinking that that's now the new end goal. So and that's how I'm got it in my head and trying to push towards.
Super. So can you give us some of your top tips for crowdfunding? You know, that from your experience so far, you're 12 days in, about really creating a successful campaign.
One of the ones that I would say, they do advise you to do it as well, but is before you do your crowdfund. So for me, it was a month before. I contacted a lot of like close family and friends and said, this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a crowdfund, and it's to launch the first collection, and asked whether or not they would be able to donate. I did ask them how much, because on the preparation sheets that they give you, they advise to try and identify your super backers and stuff like that. I didn't actually know who my super backers were at the time, because no one actually said what they were doing. They just said that they would. But I would say that if you can find out all that information beforehand, definitely it will encourage you to know that, okay, I've got this confirmed, and this is what I would have to generate publicly as a minimum. Another thing that I would say is to be consistent with the posting. I have been pledging every single morning when I wake up. I'll put my new, how much, a screenshot of the page. This is what I've raised. This is how much I've got left. Keep putting the link on my WhatsApp, my Instagram, Facebook, and everything. And at the first, I'd not be afraid really of annoying anyone. So it's your status, it's your story. If people don't want to watch it anymore, that's completely up to them. I've got a goal, so that's what I am doing, just being out there constantly. So that way, if anyone thinks about business or crowdfund or whatever, it's my mind, it's me that's in their mind. And my last thing I would say is that worked for me is setting a daily target. So my target was, so you could set a daily target for how much money you want to raise that day, or how many people you want to have pledged that day and stuff like that. So for me, I was doing I wanted a minimum of 5 pledges a day, which means I had to reach out to at least 10, 15 people to be able to try and get them to pledge that day. I didn't necessarily push on the day, but it's more likely for them to be able to pledge that day. And anybody else who you have reached out to, they might trickle into the following day, and then you might then get a higher amount of pledges along the way. So those are my top 3, I would say.
Okay.
And I think that is part of the key here to the success, is not just saying, I'm doing a crowdfund, hey, come and support me. It's a proactive approach of messaging, communicating, reminding the daily approach. And it's great. I love to see you guys winning. So I think that's it's definitely a takeaway for anybody thinking about doing a crowdfund. Don't just think you can put it up there and just let it just sit.
No, there's so much work. And I think as well, what's been really good is that I feel like people who weren't necessarily thinking to donate at the very beginning, because they're seeing that you're progressing, they want to be a part of it as well. That they want to help you reach where you want to be. So when you're consistent and you don't just drop off and you're like, oh wow, she's raised this. Oh wow, okay, let me check this out. They might not even looked at the link before, but they might do now, seeing how well you're doing. So I think that's really worked for me. So definitely have to be proactive.
So interesting, the kind of, I guess, it's either sheep or success mentality, depending on how you look at it. You know, at the beginning, people don't want to be an early adopter necessarily. When you start succeeding and thriving, they want to be part of that movement. They want to be, I got that brand.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Like suddenly they want to know you.
Yeah.
So additional question on packages, because I know this is something that a lot of people struggle with when they're starting their crowdfund. And I know something we work back and forth about. Preparation. So how do you decide on your packages, and how, you know, looking back now, is there anything you would have changed to do with the package offered to your backers?
Yeah, so the packaging thing was very difficult. So yeah, we went through it and worked on the packages that we could come up with for our customers. So we've got packages for someone that wants a flat shoe, a heeled shoe, all of the shoes together, etc. The part that I found difficult was working out the packages for people who are not going to be my customer. So I had like this, I didn't necessarily factor it in at the very beginning, but someone mentioned it to me and said, oh, I want to pledge this amount, but you know, I can't take advantage of any of these rewards. And I kind of panicked and thought, okay, what can I do? So I came up with a lot of things that, you know, turned out to be pretty random, but I thought that it would help the promotional side. So I was looking at like branded cups and stuff like that, thinking like, well, if they can't be my customer, they might drink tea at work and someone might ask them. But then I didn't realize that it was taking people away from the product and the brand itself. Even though the name would be there, it doesn't have a straightforward correlation. So for me, I think that what I would do in that, if I was to go back, is to have thought about every type of pledger. So the different types of pledges that could approach and what I could do for each of those types of customers from before. So that way I would have probably had like a branded, you know, shoe bag or something like that, or a branded somewhere that, you know, I don't know, like leather cleaner and stuff like that, trying testing out different products and seeing whether or not that's something that I could offer people who was not going to be my customer. So I would definitely say, look, thinking about that ahead of time is probably a lot easier and would entice people a lot more to be able to make a pledge.
It's really interesting to say that, because now we're talking it out. Even if you just said a voucher, or they could have dedicated a pair of shoes to someone who couldn't afford it, had that shoe. Because people want to support you, but they don't necessarily, as you say, they don't have the need. They're not a woman. They're not that. But there's so much you can do. But you know, these things happen with hindsight sometimes. But it's you're obviously on the road to being very successful in this crowdfunding, so it's not really a problem. It is interesting. I think that's one thing people need to think about is the rewards and making people subscribe to being a customer, not just buy it.
No, it's true. I definitely think that is something that should be given a lot more attention than it does. I think even when you're building your crowdfund, the rewards part is quite I think a few steps after you've actually done your content page. So you kind of think of it as an afterthought because you're so focused on the content page. So I think that prioritizing that, well, not prioritizing it over the content page, but really taking time out to think about that and looking at other people's crowdfunds and how successful they've been and seeing how that can relate to your brand would be something that I would do if I was able to go back.
Super. What kind of feedback have you had? Have you had lots of people approach as a result? I know you're doing a lot of lives with fitness bloggers and basketball women and stuff. How's that all going?
So it's going well, and it's encouraged me really to step up my comfort zone because I've never done an IG live before. A lot of the feedback has been good. So people that don't have an understanding about the struggles that women go through, when we're talking about it on the lives, they're like, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that people really went through that. Even people that I know personally that never really cared about what size shoe I was, hearing the stories from both sets of people and different types of people, different walks of life, has really opened their eyes and being like, wow, there is a really big need for this. So it's been really good. And the crowdfund itself, like the video that I put out, the content that's on there for you to read through to explain the brand, it's got a lot of good feedback as well. So I think that the brand people understand it, shall I say, so which is the most important thing.
They understand the journey.
Yeah, they understand the journey and the reason, the journey from a person struggling to them creating this brand. They understand it, which is the important thing.
Cool. So what would you have done if you couldn't get the crowdfund or didn't do the crowdfund?
So if I couldn't do the crowdfund, I probably would have had to, because I had it in my head that I didn't want to take out a loan, I was thinking about getting another job to be able to try and get at least a pair of shoes to start doing pre-orders. It would have taken a lot longer in a sense to build up, but that would have been something I would have looked at, but I would have really had to look at how much time that would have taken in order to do. It may have been the case where looking at that, I might have just decided, you know what, Sherene, take out a loan with low interest and try and build up and then see what I can do at that point. But I think one of those two one of those two, probably the first one being trying to see if I can increase my income to try and do it myself, would have been something that I would have considered doing.
Excellent. Cool. Any final words for anybody thinking about doing a crowdfund?
Don't procrastinate, because I procrastinated for way too long, too fearful.
It genuinely became painful for me.
I'm going to do crowdfunding in 2022.
The calls I started having with you was like, Sherene, where are the shoes? Why are you crowdfunding? give me a deadline. And you were like, Bianca, I'm thinking 2021. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not mentoring you in 2021 for this. No, she's okay now because she's done it.
Right, cool. I'm still in the group. Yeah, I'm still in the group, which is important. Yeah, I didn't. I would say that was like the biggest thing, because I think it was more about me being so scared about as I was saying before, about coming out with the brand and me being the face of. Like, I think that's what really put me off. Not put me off, but delayed me. I feel like I had to come to a point within myself to be like, Sherene, in order for people to believe in your brand, they need to hear your story. So you can't just, hide behind text and write down what your story is. They need to see you, feel it, and understand it at the same time. And definitely the tough love received by my old mentors there definitely helped me, as well as seeing everybody else in the group doing their crowdfund. So yeah, I think that was the biggest thing for me. Don't procrastinate, just do it. The worst thing that could happen is it just not be successful, but that doesn't mean that you can still do it again, So that's my biggest lesson.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Thank you so much. And where can people find you? Where can people connect with you? And if they want to get, where can they reach out to you?
Where can they buy some shoes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you want to purchase any shoes, sizes 8 to 12, then you can reach us at mokkahshoes.com. And to follow us on social media, we're at Mokkah Shoes.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
We will continue to look out for those shoes and work towards making this a global brand. And I think that's it.
It is. Thank you so much, Sherene. I look forward to buying my pair when the time comes. So those of you are
2020.
Thank you very much, Sherene. Thank you. I've been waiting long enough. For those of you out there who maybe understand the struggle that women with larger shoe sizes face and want to get involved, make sure you head over to Sherene's crowdfund. And even if you don't understand and you want to support her in her ambition to create this fantastic brand, a revolutionary brand, please do head over to support her, go to her website and get buying and get sharing. But thank you again for listening. Thank you, Sherene, for joining us. I've been Bianca.
And I'm Byron.
And Self-Made
is success.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.